Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with a layout for my June Kill a Kit video, or how to kill a kit with style. And I am also doing a secret not secret kit club challenge, and I was kind of showing you what I was working on and what I would be using for the challenge. Let me actually grab my piece of paper because of course I didn't bring it over with me. Oh wait, here it is. Okay, so first up I had to use stamps, sequins, 6x6 paper, ribbon or trim, and a stencil. So I kind of showed you all the items that I was going to be using, and here you can see I'm putting together the stamp set that I was going to use. And I have these two photos of Jonas from last summer with the kids that he bunked with at summer camp. He goes to a special summer camp every summer, and we actually need to get him signed up to go this year because it's coming up. It's in like 2 or 3 weeks and I still haven't filled out his paperwork, so gotta figure that out. But here you can see I'm just cutting down this one photo to be a little bit smaller, and then that bigger photo I'm gonna let that one stay the big size. So here I'm gonna use this wood grain polka dot paper to mat both of those photos. And at first, so here you can see I am going to cut down this yellow paper and I'm going to ink up all around the edges of this using this Tim Holtz stencil. And I thought this stencil would work perfect because they're in the outdoors in the photos, and obviously they're camping, so they do camp in cabins, but they spend a lot of time outdoors. And so I thought that this stencil worked perfect because it's the like the wood grain, whatever that is, the wood grain pattern. Yeah, it's a pattern. I can use my words. This challenge was for, like I said, a secret not secret kit club scrap party challenge that was the last weekend of June. So it was June 30th and July 1st. And I used this kit, my June kit, for a bunch of these challenges, and I had so much fun doing it. So I'm really excited that I finally, at the end of the month, the very last day, I got to use my kit. So this challenge was put on by Daisy Scraps, and it was called the scavenger hunt challenge. So she gave us a list of things we needed to find, and from our stash, and I went searching for them and found them in my stash. I think that's what this challenge was for. I could be wrong. I should have written down the names of the challenges. Actually, I think I did write them down on my computer. Let me see. So this one would have been not for daisies. This is the grab 5 challenge. That's what it was. Yeah, so this one was a grab 5 challenge. So I grabbed these 5 things from my stash. So here you can see now I am going to mat the photos with this polka dotted paper. And I decided that I didn't want to use the whole yellow piece of paper across the layout. I just thought it looked better with it not being right down the center. Lately I've been doing a lot of layouts down the center in the middle of the layout, and so I kind of wanted to switch things up, and I'm really, really glad I did. I'm so beyond happy with how this layout turned out. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out my 6x6 paper pad. This is from the Maggie Holmes Flourish collection. And I'm going to use this 6x6 version. I only had one of the 6x6 sheets, so I couldn't back both of the photos. So I kind of had to do a little bit of what do you call it? MacGyvering, I guess. People usually say that when they use, you know, 2 different alphas to make one. But here I'm going to cut, excuse me, I'm going to cut the paper, and then I'm going to turn this excess piece into a banner and put it right next to the photo where it kind of is, doesn't have enough pattern paper to go that extra little space. So I'm going to put that there, and then this other picture, sorry, I'm losing my words, excuse me. This other picture, I'm just going to glue right next to it, and it's not going to cover the whole back of that second picture, but that is totally fine with me. I really like how that looks. So I had these two scraps in my kit, or in that paper pad, as well as this full sheet, full 6x6 sheet. And this one has navy on one side, and then I think it's from the Oasis collection. This might have actually, I think, been a scrap piece in my kit. And it's got the navy on one side and then like leaves, blue and green leaves on the other side. So I am going to cut, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these pieces into banner shapes, and then I'm going to use them right underneath the photos and kind of add to that that banner that I have going along there. Excuse me. I'm going to use the excess of that paper up in the top underneath the photos along with that pink scrap as well. So here I'm going to glue those banners together, and then I'm going to incorporate my twine, which I'm counting as my trim. I didn't really have any trim in my kit or anything, so I had to pull some twine from my stash. And I don't really have a lot of ribbon or twine that I really wanted to use with these photos. So I decided to use this green, and I am going to stitch along the edges, like the bottom edge and the sides of these banners. So here you can see I'm just pulling out my needle, and then I'm going to get to work, and I'm going to cut out most of this because it does take quite a while. Even though it is a small area, it still takes a while. Okay, so now here you can see that I am back, and I just finished with the stitching. And now I'm going to start gluing everything down. I'm trying to make sure I have everything placed where I want it. And then I'm going to get busy gluing all of these papers down to each other. It takes quite a little bit of maneuvering, but I get it just right, just perfect where I want everything. So here you can see I'm going through the papers again, and I pull out this piece that was in the kit. Oh, sorry, I'm like all over the place apparently. So I pull out this piece from the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm going to add that to the back of the photo cluster. And here I'm going to stamp the phrase, "This is awesome." Oh no, I decide to change my mind again. Oh my goodness, I am all over the place with this layout. I think this was the first official layout that I created after like a 3 or 4 week hiatus. So you can see there I'm checking off all of the items that I have used so far, and then I'm going to glue down this leaf pattern that is from the Meggy Flourish collection, the paper pad that I had in my stash that I put in my kit. Now I'm going to glue the banners to the photo cluster, and I think I'm going to pop all of it up on some foam. So I'm going to pull out some foam from my stash and put that on the back of the photos, just to give it a little bit more texture and dimension. So I had this piece of green that worked perfectly. I'm going to glue that down, and yeah, so much fun, right? Now you can see I have all the foam down, and I am gluing it with my adhesive gun. And then I'm going to glue this whole thing down to the background. I had this ampersand in my kit as one of the embellishments. So I placed that up there. And this is kind of where I screw up a little bit. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this new glue, or not glue, this new stamp and ink pad from Close to My Heart, and I use some blue color and it totally smudges on the photo, and I was so mad. So I just kind of wiped it off, and it looks a little funky down there, but I'm just gonna deal with it. This time I decide to test the color of ink on the back of the mat, and it actually works. I mean, it's not super dark, like it's not gonna pop off the page at you, but it was dark enough and you could kind of read it that I was okay with it. So I stamped the word awesome, and so the banner says, "This is so awesome." I think that's what it says. Yeah, "This is so awesome." And I really like how that looks. So now I'm getting towards the end of the layout and just finishing touches. This layout took me an hour and a half. Like I said, it's the first one that I did coming back from like a really long mojo decline. Now I'm going to stamp my title. And what I decided to do is to use the stamps from Close to My Heart, and they are called Jennifer's Hand, I believe. And it's Jen Scow's hand that she created, her handwriting she created when she worked for Close to My Heart, like years and years and years ago, forever ago. I think it was like 10 years ago. So here I'm trying to decide if I want to stamp it directly on the pattern paper or if I want to try to stamp it on something. So I grabbed this scrap piece of paper from my kit, and I'm going to end up using that. So the title's just going to be Campers and Counselors. Very simple, very generic, but it tells you very quickly who are in these pictures, right? So I'm going to glue that down, and I'm going to glue the ampersand down as well. And then now I am finding another piece of paper that I can use to write or to stamp the word counselor on. And then I'm going to glue that next to the right of the ampersand. And then I'm going to also do a little bit more stamping. Okay, so now here you can see I have my title all stamped out, and I have decided to put this huge mat at an angle, and I really absolutely love how this turns out. I wasn't quite sure as I was making the layout how I was gonna like it. So I set it down on the background, and then I decide, oh, I forgot I wanted to add this arrow paper, or not arrow, I think it's got triangles on it. So I'm gonna rip it off, and it's okay because you can't see the ripped parts of the paper. It works out. I'm gonna cut off a little piece at the bottom, and then I'm going to use my, I think it's Pacifica ink from Close to My Heart, and I'm gonna edge all of the papers, of course, after the fact of gluing them down, right? So I'm going to ink all the edges of these papers, and then I'm going to glue it all down at an angle, and I just absolutely love how this layout turned out. It's just perfect. Perfect, perfect. And for it to be the first one that I made coming back from a super long and depressing mojo decline, I was so excited and so happy that I think I literally spent like 4 or 5 hours scrapbooking on this day. It was amazing. So here I'm going to glue it all down, and then I'm going to add some sequins. And I apologize if you can hear all the stomping around upstairs. My kids are home for the summer. It's fun. Oh, I forgot I added these. These are from the Ink Road circle stamps that I have to the left there of the ink And I am going to cut around these with my 1-inch stamp, or my 1-inch punch, and then I'm going to add some sequins. So I will be back to show you the photos of this layout. Not much else is going to happen, so I will see you again soon. Bye.